This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
Danilo's free. He goes to Gibbs wide. Edge of the box. Foley. Yes! Great goal! What a hit from Oliveira! It's wide! They've only gone and done it again! Forest back in the lead from Morgan Gibbs White! Oh, what he scores! And the City ground goes ballistic!
Hello and welcome to this latest edition of Red Side of the Trent, here to discuss Forest's 2-0 win in their potential last game at Goodison Park, bearing in mind that we might get them in the cup still. And thankfully, no tweets this time after leaving in joyous mood, and also maybe in some discombobulation, because we are second in the league, although there are games to kick off tonight as we speak. I'm joined by Christian Brown, Reese Lane and Danny Tring. I'm not sure if Reese and Danny have had words pre-pod to come in the same shirt, but I do love it. Reese, first of all, how are you? All three of you went yesterday, so how was it first of all?
Brilliant, mate. Another perfect away day, which seems to be pretty much everyone at the minute, doesn't it? So yeah, just a perfect day again. And
just to let the audio listeners, Reese has got Zach Abbott's shirt in the background as we kept the record going for having a youth player in the squad, and Gibbs White, who put on an absolute show. I must say. Danny Tring, how are you?
Yeah, all good. Good. How about yourself?
Yeah, very good, mate. Obviously, Nuno Santa Claus was well in town. All of Christmas. Who would have thought we got 9 points from this crazy run of games over Christmas period? Christian, how are you as well?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Feel like I should probably go and get the white away shirt that Reece and Danny have got to make it three of a kind, but I'll refrain for now.
Yeah, definitely. Reece, just a brief overview of how you felt coming away from Goodison. I know you spoke to Christian just beforehand. He loved hearing Spirit of the Blues before, but not afterwards. And he started actually playing it down the microphone, couldn't quite hear it. And he just said he couldn't stop laughing because of that, the meme of the bloke dancing to it, isn't there?
Yeah. This is a great song, to be fair. I never thought we looked in dart, really. My only dart was at the start, because obviously, as we're going to chat in a minute, was Murillo, the change at the last minute, and you kind of, that Forest PTSD creeps back in, and you're thinking, oh God, something's gone wrong, and it's going to be one of them days. But I never thought we were in any real threat, to be honest. I just thought they were a throwback to Neil Warnock with Sheffield United. I just thought they just pumped it long all day, and when you got two big, and in the end three big lads at the back, they just had it out, and that's pretty much what they did. So I thought it was pretty comfortable, to be honest.
Danny, you said just before we started, it's starting to almost feel like we're expecting it a little bit. Are we getting ahead of ourselves?
Well, I don't think we are we? By the sounds of it, keep winning. So we're expecting it, it's happening. And if I'm honest, I don't think we're playing out of skins either. Like, I keep hearing people say they're going to drop off, but for me, I don't think anyone's playing out the skin. Like, I think they're just playing at a level which they can play at. I don't think it's not like we've got someone firing it in every week from 35 yards and you're like, oh, they'll dry up soon. It's like everything just seems to be, the defenders are playing at a level I think they know they can play at, and the midfielders are battling and working hard and showing the quality that they've got, which we know they've got. So yeah, I think we aren't getting carried away. It might be. Maybe if we start talking title charge, then we might be getting carried away.
I'm on a similar level to you in terms of, like, I don't think we're playing amazing, and there's still lots of room to get better as well, which is quite scary when you put it like that. But we'll talk about it a little bit later, because there are a few questions from listeners and stuff. Christian, last of all, just a brief overview of how you felt coming away from that ground. Obviously, last season was, I mean, we all looked at our phones, seeing Twitter, and we've seen an absolute, like, a statement from Forest basically going to take the Premier League to court, and it was absolutely ridiculous. So then this time round, we've come away wheeling away, playing Dyche ball at his own game, and absolutely smashing them, really.
Yeah, I mean, it made the it was an hour wait getting out, even like last time and this time, but it's a lot nicer when you win for that way to get away from Goodison. Yeah, like I should get much echoing what the other said. Really, I never really felt. It was only the last 10 minutes when they started just banging balls into the box, just because that's one of their strengths. I started to feel a little bit of concern, just in case they got one, and then obviously the crowd gets up again. But they didn't really do anything really. Like it was very controlled from Forest. We were really, really good yesterday. Again, just in a time where people don't seem to want to defend, we're doing it, and it's showing why it pays to do so.
Yeah, I mean, it's been brilliant. It's kind of our game plan, and everyone knows what our game plan is, and because I can't seem to stop it at the moment. Reece, I'll start with yourself with the team. Obviously, 1:45 come round, and it was announced it was a 3-4-3. With Nuno had tinkered again, going with Morato coming in at centre back until Murillo obviously pulled out, and Ramon Sosa coming for him to go back to a 4-2-3-1. What was the vibes around supporters in amongst the ground, obviously, when that news come in and then the switch had happened?
Obviously disappointed, because if you worked on a game plan with the little time they had, and then you've got to change, and also change of formation. Obviously, like I said earlier, the Forest kind of PTSD creeps in, and you're thinking you dread the worst. And but it was seamless. Obviously, the formation we did go into is something we play regularly. I guess the only thing you could say is that obviously Ramon Sosa, that was his first start once it's in the Premier League. So you're kind of thinking, how is he going to be? Because I think we saw last year when Gio Reyna played there, kind of struggled to get in the game, didn't he, for someone who was kind of coming in a bit cold. But I thought he contributed really well. And yeah, as obviously the game went on, we got an early goal after quarter of an hour, want it. And like I said in the opening introduction, I never really thought we were under any real pressure. One thing I will say as well at the minute is we're kind of getting goals at crucial times. Like, look at when we got the second goal yesterday at Brentford, and that will take sting out of sides, and that allows us, as we know, to kind of sit on this lead where Nuno puts us into a 3 or a 5, whatever way you want to call it, and we just don't look like conceding, do we? Like Morato's just that cheat code who just like a doorman who's like, yeah, you're not coming in kind of thing. So yeah, the lineup was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I thought as well, like, no Callum Hudson-Odoi due to a dead leg. Murillo pulls out with an abductor. Yates out with suspension. And I just think, like, people are just stepping in and doing an unbelievable job and really fighting for their shirt, really, because everyone wants to play, especially when we're flying so high.
With the quick turnaround as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we said we need the squad. Like, Nuno's reiterated that since the start, really. The whole squad is so important. But, Danny, I did think it was really important that Forest matched Everton's intensity and effort, because you know what you're going to get from Everton, and if you let them get on top of you, it can be quite a long day. And I actually thought we just matched them completely all over the pitch, and it was really personified with Elliot Anderson and Nico Dominguez in central midfield. What did you think to the start of the game?
Well, to be fair, I thought the first 15 minutes, I thought it wasn't so seamless, the change. I thought Milenkovic was a bit busy. I thought he was trying to organise too much. And I think what happened was he was organising Aino, organising Morato, and it took a bit out of his game at the start. And then what happened, I think Morato come out about 15 minutes in, and he just took the ball, a bit like what Murillo does, stuck his leg out, come out with the ball, and I think it just settled everyone down. And then from that point on, I just thought they just competed, they battled. But it's like, I don't want to get on about it, but it's like with Dominguez, this thing about, oh yeah, but we need certain players in there who can compete. And he is that in abundance, but the difference with Dominguez is he doesn't tend to foul. It tends to get them there, and they end up having to go back to their goalkeeper. I bet you Pickford touched ball more than anyone yesterday. Ball just kept going back and back and back. So, and Anderson, I mean, I thought Anderson was a bit of a 10. It last 3-4 games is looked more and more like a number 8 who's box to box, but he wants to tackle. He's strong. I mean, he bullied Mangala yesterday, and I like Mangala, but he bullied him. He looked physical, loads better on the ball. He just looked stronger. Come out with every tackle he does, he comes out with it. It don't just go out for a throw-in, or it comes out with it in his possession, just pops it off, shows all the time. I just thought they dominated him. And then Reece was saying with the defence, they're just solid, aren't they? Like we know what we're going to get from our defence, and then the midfield just stepped up. And against a team which we've struggled against, haven't we? Let's be honest. Like we've struggled against him. And I don't know if you're going to touch on it, but touching on like Sousa, I've seen someone say he wasn't very good. I've watched Ashley Young play against us 4 times, however many times. He has a cigar in every game, and I think the bloke's 38. We don't test him. He didn't like it yesterday at all. Sousa were up, winning every header with him, putting him on his arse every time he went up for an header, running at him, dragged him on 70 minutes. I thought he had a really good game, Sousa, for me. Really good.
Yeah, I thought he did. We'll talk about him a little bit later on, because obviously making his full debut is quite an important thing. But Christian, as we said, once we settled and got into the game, I mean, what a goal to silence Goodison and maybe become, as Lee Clark called him, the theatre of booze. I mean, talk about a ball from Gibbs White to start it off, and then, I mean, I've never seen a 1-2 of a header in my life, but it was stupendous, as a boxer used to say, Chris Eubank.
I mean, even to be fair, it was quite something that it was. I think, like Reece touched upon just then, we're scoring goals at crucial points. I mean, they did start off relatively, about as much enthusiasm we got from Everton yesterday, really, but that just completely knocked them dead. Like it was like. It was a lovely ball from Gibbs White, and I don't know how we had that much space either. That was quite unorthodox from a Dyche side to give a creative midfielder like that all the room of Goodison basically to pick his pass. But again, he comes up good. It's a great ball in, and yeah, I mean, Wunderlanger, I don't quite know how Wood gets in behind Tarkowski so easily. Again, it's probably just his intelligence, his movements just off the scale, but the composure of Wood to do what he did, like. It's weird because there's so many people would have just seen that sort of like as it was about to bounce up, just lash it first time, either the left or whatever else. But he just takes that extra half second, positions himself, and then just looks, and it's just like that's 33 years of experience there, just doing what he did there. It was such a cultured, brilliant goal from Woods, and he just keeps showing more and more and more goals to his repertoire. If you like, there's a header against Crystal Palace, the back header. There was that yesterday. There was, the goals from range against Fulham and also Palace, albeit the second one was somewhat assisted by Henderson. He's not just this you can't just pigeonhole him into one sort of part of a striker. He's very complete in what he does in front of goal, and that was a wonderful finish. And obviously, it was his first goal for quite a few games as well. I think it was by his standards. I mean, he's still on 11 this season, which is scandalous, really. But no, it was a beautiful move. And credit to Elanga as well, because he cushioned that ball so well. It could have been so easy to get that wrong, but it was just right. And yeah, just once that went in, you just never really felt like Everton were going to get back in the game. I do feel a bit sorry for Everton fans. I can't lie. I have a bit of a soft spot for them as a club, but you sort of look at them and it's sort of it's like watching. It's like going through an old Forest photo album, where you look at the team and they're crap. They've got a few select people with technical ability. The crowd are just apathetic to what's going on. They don't like the manager. They're just there out of loyalty rather than wanting to be there. And it's just oh God, it's not really the best way to see out an iconic football ground in Goodison Park. But that's their problem. Ultimately, we had to do a job and we did it, and that set us well on our way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Reece, I kind of think the game went in our favour a lot there, and then it was weird because Everton are known for being so defensively solid, and we opened them up more than one time because just before our time, I thought Raman Sousa should do better with that chance. I don't know what you think, but then I just wanted to know what were the vibes like at half time. Obviously 1-0 up, and more often than not, it's we go ahead, and it's very rare that this season, weirdly, that we give it up. And people must be really confident at the moment within the fan base, especially going there, weirdly.
Yeah, just to touch on the Sousa chance, I do agree. He probably should have hit the target. Should have hit the target at least. But to be fair, I thought Branthwaite did quite well with that slide. I think that just put him off. I mean, it was a fabulous run. Like Danny said earlier, burnt Ashley Young there. got to the ball first, and he was quite unlucky, but it was a fabulous run. Just like you say, once you get, this was a problem, wasn't it? I think last season where we kind of got ahead, and it's like, can we go on and get that second goal rather than sitting on a 1-0, because that gives you that extra breathing space, because you think anybody can kind of get a lucky bounce and bobble and fight, it just goes in, you know what I mean? But when you got like a 2-goal lead, you're thinking, right, maybe they might get one at best, but obviously Brentford and Everton haven't. And obviously we get that second goal, and that just pretty much kills the game. Something I just want to touch on with Elliot Anderson is something I said a long time ago on this pod, in that we haven't replaced Jimmy Garner from the Championship days. He's the Jimmy Garner replacement for the Prem. He just reminds me of Garner, because he's got everything. You know, he can take set pieces, he can pass, he can tackle, he can carry the ball forward. He's just an all-round centre mid. And to be honest, Adam, I seen your tweet about him looking towards the England squad. If he carries on this form, he won't be far off it, because centre mid for England, I wouldn't say is a place where, after your main two in Bellingham and Declan Rice, where we properly blessed. I know, obviously, Conor Gallagher's out at Atletico now. And I mean, Kobe Mainoo's gone off the charts, I mean, at Manchester United, because they're a disaster. So, yeah, he'll obviously want to keep producing these performances. But honestly, you just, in the away end or at home games, and you just think, I'm pretty relaxed, to be honest. It's not like the olden days where you think, oh my God, we're just proper clinging on here. Like I think back to when we beat Liverpool at home in the first season, when every time like Trent put a ball in, you're like, oh, holding, you know, biting your nails and thinking someone's just going to head it in. But no, we're just a very good side, mate. Just what I'm watching, you know, for me, and it's probably the same for all three of you. This is the best team I've seen at Forest I mean, I was born in 92, so I didn't see I was a bit too young for like the 94, 95 team. So, you know, the best teams I've seen have always been in the Championship, really, under like Billy Davies, Paul Hart and Steve Cooper. So to be playing at the level we are now and being second in the best league in the world, it's kind of pinch yourself time. And I just hope we can continue it.
And there's still way more to come, I think. There's so much more room to grow, especially from a forward point of view. But Danny, we silenced. I mean, Goodison Park was getting proper riled up just before half time as well. I mean, I don't know if you lot heard it from the away end, but there was a woman, I thought she was going to burst a blood vessel. She was calling Anderson a tart for about half an hour. It was great, to be fair. It was very, very funny. But we absolutely killed them with yet another long ball that they just don't seem to deal with. The press from Alanga is brilliant to find Wood, and Wood shows some composure to find his mate Morgan Gibbs-White, who spooned one over the bar not too long before, I don't think. And me and the lads in our group chat, me, Danny, Mason and Reese, who have come on this pod plenty of times, we'll go, we can't shoot. And then he shows that kind of composure in front of goal to just put it above Pickford as he's gone down. I mean, talk us through the goal from your point of view.
I think it comes down to Alanga's threat with pace, if I'm honest. I mean, I know it's a bad back pass, but he's still got onto it. Like, he's on the ball, doesn't panic, composure, picks Wood. Wood's pass to Gibbs-White's perfect. And I says to the lad who I was with, I says, I can't believe the decor has fell for his check, because it's what he does. He gets I always say to him, why does he check onto his left foot? His right footed. Gibbs-White always checks onto his left foot. And he did it. His touch was absolutely outstanding. And I mean, Pickford had gone, he'd already dove, I think, before he hit it. He went and forward bottom corner. But that's what we want from Gibbs-White, isn't it? It's like, that's the difference. That's what will make him the player that I think we've been saying we've got. And I've been a bit harsh on him at times, because I think we're a bit ahead of ourselves with him. They're the moments where he's got to step up. And that's what he's done. That's what the best 10s do. They, like what you were saying about getting that second goal, they get you that second goal. And he's stepped up, got the second goal. And from there, we don't lose from 2-0. We won't lose from 2. I'd be surprised. I don't want to jinx it. I won't be surprised if we lose from 2-0 this season. I will. Because with that solid, it's literally just settled everyone down. They were struggling as it was. They must have thought, what we're going to... I mean, I'm sure some Everton fans got up and left at that point, like where we were stood. Like they all got up and started walking out. I seen them. They were cheering when they were bringing players off. They were cheering for Harrison when he got dragged. It's a bit toxic, and last thing you need is to then go 2-0 down. And so, yeah, perfect time to score, like you were saying. And fair play to Gibbs White. I mean, what's that now? What's he on now? 3 goals?
Three goals.
Yeah.
I think 4 assists or 3 assists.
And
He's
like
on a bright purple patch.
Yeah, they have. I mean, Elanga's people were right. Oh, I was hearing people saying we should have took 50 million. Now look at him. It's football, isn't it? At the minute, it's probably the most informed winger other than Salah in league over the last Christmas break. And then you're looking, and all day it caused them trouble, though, Elanga's pace. There were chance where Pickford saved it. Great. I think he ran through about 60 minutes. Absolute light. It looks like a sprinter. It's like watching a sprint. Him. I think he's one of them players you have to see in real life to see how fast he is. Like, you know, because these are professional footballers that are burning. Do you know what I mean? They're not. It's not like he's playing on Park and he's playing against the dad. Do you know what I mean? He's leaving professional footballers in his wake, and fair play to him. Fair play to them all at the minute. Fair play to them all.
Yeah, I mean, Christian, we had chances to make it 3 and kind of really like put them in the ground. Really, Nico Williams, Sosa, Elanga, Awoniyi. Credit to Jordan Pickford, he actually pulled off some really good saves. But I still don't know where he was for that first one. Absolute no man's land. I think I put in our group chat like eat that T-Rex arms sort of thing. Just Jordan Pickford could have a fight with himself in a phone box. But I did want to give credit again to defence. Bolly became the closer. Matt Sells with 1 notable save. Pretty easy. Do you feel quite comfortable in that away end?
Yeah, pretty much. I think like that was touched upon. It is getting to a point now where you look at other teams, you think you just aren't going to score. Like it's just surreal, isn't it? Like we're so used to Forest like folding like a deck chair at the slightest bit of pressure in like the later months of the season, and yet you know they seem to make it look so easy. But like I say, like after the Spurs game, you look at Forest, it must be horrible to play against them. Like there's no space, there's nowhere to pass the ball. Like all you can do is go backwards, and Forest like, all right, fine, keep it there. Like try again. It's like I said, like it's in like an era where you know you've got your Postecoglou's and your Russell Martins and Vincent Kompany's, etc., who focus so predominantly on attacking football, but you know you don't win anything unless you can defend. And yeah, we're just showing that it's a bit of a throwback in a sense, but it's just good to see the team want to defend. You see them like when Milenkovic, like there was one thing Milenkovic did, like I also have to touch on the standards he's raised at the club, where Aina did something quite good, but then like messed around with it, ended up kicking the ball out for a corner. Basically, it was really like silly and cheap. Milenkovic screamed at him as if he conceded a goal. Like it was like, you don't do that. We don't do that. It was like Jesus, like this guy's like competitor is off the scale. And yeah, and I just didn't think, even when, like I said, even when they're banging balls into the box for Beto and Calvert-Lewin and whoever else, like, I mean, they are a team of rugby players, effectively, Everton, aren't they, really? But they just didn't do anything with it. Like, I think Sells had, 1 save to make, and even that was a pretty comfortable height for him. Like, it was, you know, I'm glad he had his little camera save moment, but he didn't have anything to do. Like, it took him, 86 minutes to force him into action. And by that point, Pickford's kept Everton in the game, 2 or 3 times. It was just so good. And also, I think what was really pleasing is that, like, we all know Dyche had our number several times, especially over the last 3 or 4 games we played against them. And we just didn't sink to it. Like, obviously, their tactic is, like, we'll drag you to our level and we'll bully you and whatever else. And we just rose above it completely. And if you do rise above it, you tend to get a result. And we did. So, yeah, really, really pleased with how we approached yesterday and how we saw it out. It was magnificent. It was like watching a team, a top 4 team, which is currently what we are. So, yeah, all good.
If you defend your box and outwork Sean Dyche's side, you'll beat him.
Yeah.
99 times out of 100. And that was the problem. Like last season, they come to ours. They weren't very good, but they outworked us and they beat us 1-0. Bit of quality. McNeil wanted, he scored. Same in the away game last season. Again, tiny bit of quality, but they outworked us. And yesterday, I just thought we outworked them from pretty much minute 1. And we defended our box. I will touch on, because there was long ball merchants, Everton, but I will give a little bit of credit to Illiman and Dyer. I thought was really good for him.
Yeah,
he was the only one who I actually thought was a big threat for them against us. I know Branthwaite, to be fair, did carry it as a centre back quite well at times, but in Dye I thought was really good. He's better than them, really.
Massively, yeah. They need like a new manager for him, surely. Like,
I think he gave Aina his toughest game, personally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing he did, and I think it was at the first couple of minutes where he spun Milenkovic, did Morato, and then spooned it over. But I think where you mentioned, Danny, about Morato picking the ball, he tried to do it again to Morato, and Morato read it. And that kind of, like you said, that settled us down. And then we started playing then.
Yeah, Morato, the doorman. I mean, I think the same as well, Reece. I mean, about work ethic, it summed it up when Anthony Elanga sprinted all the way back from us losing the ball to take the ball off. I can't remember who it was, but he just literally just out-muscled him, took the ball off. It raised all the voices from Goodison Park, and it was like, well, it's not a foul, is it? It's just strength and desire and heart and wanting to be better. And I mean, every player put
he ran and ran yesterday, Elanga, and Dominguez the same. I'd love to see who actually ran more than that. I actually felt a bit for Elanga that he didn't put the chef's kiss and get at third, because I think he was just that tired when he got to Pickford, because he should have took it round him. Pickford had given him the option to take it round him, and I think he was just that shattered. He tried to poke it through Pickford's legs, and obviously Pickford made another save. I mean, he's just theatre to watch. And Jordan Pickford, his antics and that is.
When he got so funny.
Yeah, I do.
The ball away,
obviously, because he's England's number one. I do begrudgingly love him. I was giving him some stick yesterday, but he is, proper passion merchant, into bless him.
I just felt Elanga was caught in two minds at that moment. Like, it was probably tiredness. I think the amount he ran that last 25 minutes, including stoppage time, was probably exactly the same as he'd ran for the rest of the game. And he was constantly up and down the wing, like for those 70 minutes beforehand. He was just, I was amazed he could stand up, but at the end, he just literally just dropped to the floor. And when all the players came over, he was clapping the fans for 5 minutes. He was still on the floor, couldn't get up. Like, he proper ran himself into the grounds yesterday, Elanga. Solid shift.
It's bizarre. Do you know sorry, it's like I've noticed in the last probably 3 or 4 games, the subs once he's made the subs and has made his 5 subs, they're going into a next gear. Like Hudson-Odoi, when he's been playing these 90 minutes, the last 25 minutes has been insane. And I thought Elanga just brought a new element to his game the last 25. It was right, he's made his subs, he's kept me on. Rather than putting his foot off the gas, he was I'm going to step it up again. And I thought, fair play to him. You think they could get complacent. They're not. It's the opposite. It's he's rewarding me with keeping me on, because I don't think anyone wants to come off. None of them look like they want to come off. So fair play to him. There's something happening when they're keeping them on. It's as if right, keep doing what you're doing, and then they'll just step up. His work rate. I never questioned his work rate yesterday, but the last 25 minutes, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think we have to give credit to Nico Williams. I think Elliot Anderson and Moore Gibbs-White didn't receive a yellow card yesterday, and they were all combative throughout that game at one point or another. And none of them got booked, which I was really surprised about. So, yeah, fantastic.
Williams was excellent again. Absolutely excellent. He's still that position like a duck to water. It's finally we're
Dennis Irwin reincarnated.
Yeah, finally getting a consistent run out of him, and look what happened.
We've said that for a while about Nico Williams. He has to play games to really get into it, but we will move on because we've got loads to go through. We're going to give you your slept on it for
Red side of the Trent. Slept on it thoughts.
I think there'll probably be a bit of a theme here, to be honest, guys. But Peaches, am I still dreaming? Notice that we don't seem to be at our 100% best, but still keep getting results. Also, would love to see a bit more of so you can tell there is a gem in there, just needs some more game time. Gary Baldy Nerd with Murillo out. That was a big moment for Morato to show he can be the partner for the future for Milenkovic, and he absolutely smashed it. 3 goals and assists since that melt compared Elanga to Mighton. Grant Fellows, Twitter melted down a little little when Murillo news came out and Sosa was in for him. Unwarranted because Milenkovic and Morata were incredibly solid along the line with the fullbacks. The whole side working like a well-oiled machine. 2 great goals and a clean sheet. Title contenders with a question mark. Nigel Clough is the son of God, could throw a dart at a team sheet and whatever name it landed on, you could argue their case for being man of the match. But let's keep our feet on the ground. We might be second in the Premier League, but where are we in the advanced metrics league? Ben Black, amazing ability to able to adapt to injuries, and we have such a strong depth in the squad. Morato deserves huge praise and very solid performance. Morata, that is, sorry. Premier Elliot, I've been crying out for Nico to play on the left for years, and he did ever so well. Happy New Year to all on the pod and viewers, you too, Elliot. Today's fact is that the village of Villa de Caneja in Spain celebrates New Year at noon because many of its residents are elderly and go to bed early. I like that. Sounds like my kind of night, to be honest. Snowboard Pete, with the injury so close to kick off, the team weren't unsettled and did a job. Another clean sheet, but those goals were lovely. Elanga was brilliant today. Great tackles, tracked back and ran everywhere, all the way to the final whistle. Carl Booth, considering the injuries and last-minute dropout to Murillo, that's the best away win. Players come in and the result is the same. Shows our depth. Sangare and Danilo to return will feel like new signings. We outfought Everton all over and scored 2 great goals. Kev, Morato immense, great at stepping out and just winning the ball. Without Murillo, we still look like a giant brick wall at the back. Man of the match must be one of the front 3, Elanga, Wood or Morgan White. Never once we felt we were in trouble, not even when they brought on everyone up front. Last but no means least, because we've got loads to go through, is Binet Patel. You know when you've made it when your friends banter you. For over 20 years, none of my footy pals bantered me about Forest, perhaps as they were slightly embarrassed for me. Now I'm getting bantered every week, telling me that the Forest are firmly Premier League. Thank you very much for everyone who got your slept on it thoughts in. Sorry, I can't read them all out. There's just about a million to go through, but we're going to get into some player performances. Reece, I'm going to start with yourself. I'm going to give you Morgan Gibbs-White.
Yeah, brilliant. Another kind of performance. What we'll hopefully have Mr. Tuchel watching for March. But yeah, he's been brilliant last few games. Like Lee hit it bang on the head. I think this was quite a few pods ago where I think there was a couple getting on his back a little bit. He'd just come back from injury, and Lee was like, "Look, let him have this run of games and get back into his stride," and he's certainly doing that. You know, started the move for the first goal. Wonderful ball over the top for Wood. Took his, after you, like you said, Adam, he unfortunately spooned that one over, didn't he, before, but then took his second one superbly. I think Doucouré was a bit concerned once he had checked back that he was going to kind of foul him, but obviously that's because of Gibbs-White's touch, like Danny said. And then Pickford makes his move, and I think everyone thinks you're going to go to that far corner there, and he kind of just waits. Pickford's already died. He just puts it above him. Real brilliant composure, and yeah, he's as the whole team is. He's flying at the moment, and long may it continue. And what the good thing about his performances now is he's putting the numbers on. He's getting assists. He's scoring goals. So unfortunately, we live in this day and age now where it's like these are the only metrics people look at, don't they? As we're seeing now with. Like Mo Salah's better than every player in human history because he's took over such and such goal record in the Premier League, etc. But there's more to football than that. Some players are just lovely to watch on the eye, and Gibbs-White is one of them. Like we've said on this pod, he's one that you pay your money for, and so it's really good to see him as well contributing with the goals and assists. But yeah, long may it continue. I thought he was excellent again yesterday, Gibbs-White. Ready for his return to Mali now.
He's been unlucky not to get more assists, to be honest. He's been playing some absolutely pearlers of passes, like he loves the outside of the boot, obviously. That's like it. Like, to
be fair, like chances created stat is probably better than assists, isn't it? Because you could put a ball in someone on a play and they might just spoon it over the bar. And it's not your fault. You're doing your job as a 10, aren't you? So yeah, he always creates, Gibbs-White. Yeah, I love Gibbs-White. Great player.
Yeah, definitely. Danny, I don't know if you've seen my viral tweet. I think it's just Newcastle fans. They absolutely love when you talk about Elliot Anderson. But they're all going, "Oh, when his loan finishes, I can't wait." Blah blah blah. And I'm going, "I'd want 100 million for him at the moment." That's how he's playing for me. He's incredible. But I just wanted to let you have your say on Elliot Anderson.
He's outstanding, isn't he? He's outstanding. I'm a massive fan of Danilo. I absolutely love him. He's not going to get in, is he? Like, he's not going to get in ahead of him, like, because he just looks like he can do everything, but he enjoys the physicality. He's not like a fancy Dan. He likes that. He likes that battle. He likes to feel his opposition. Do you know what I mean? He likes to know he's in a game, and he's so strong. His feet are amazing. It's just refreshing to see a centre mid drop for a ball and show for it. It's showing pockets rather than hide. I just love it. Like, I just love everything about him. And we've got to appreciate, right, the lad's 21, 22. He's left his boyhood club where, let's be right, he'd be starting now. But due to PSR, he's had to leave. I imagine he wasn't overly happy about it. No matter what, like, we love Forest, like we all think Forest amazing. But to him, Newcastle is his Forest, isn't it? So he's had to settle in, and there's nothing better to help you enjoy football by playing than start playing well in a team that's doing well. It all becomes a lot easier. So for me, I thought yesterday, I've slept on it. I thought Anderson was man at match for me. I just thought it was so competitive. It was everything that was good that were happening. Then moments where, like you were saying, Dyche's teams have bullied us. They didn't let him happen. And I think he was the big part of that. Him and Dominguez, like, I'm not going to go on about everyone because you can't put him in, but him and Dominguez was absolutely colossal yesterday in an area where if you lose that against Sean Dyche, you lose the game. It's as simple as that. We've done it. We've seen it. We've seen the blueprint for it. We've lost games because we've not won that midfield battle to him for the last, or not even won pick points up. He's gone in there. He was brilliant. It's been brilliant. It's been brilliant since he's come in, hasn't he? Let's be honest. He has. And for 15 million, do you know what? For 35 million is worth it. For 35 million. Forget about Blacademos. We are not looking, if we would pay 35 million straight away for him, looking at it now, halfway through the season, we'd all say that's worth value, I think. Definite. So, no, my man of the match, I'd say yesterday, Anderson for me.
I think, Joe, when you look at 35 million, this is what people wanted from Ibrahim Sangare. And I think we can all be on agreement that he's not shown what Anderson's shown yet. I mean, I'd love him to, but I know Reece is like really, really thinks that it's probably not going to happen. I've kind of feel like that because this injury's gone on for far too long and players have really nailed down a place now. Even Yates is well above Sangare at the moment. And that's hard for me to say because I'm not a massive Ryan Yates fan.
To be
but Ryan
fair,
Yates is consistent. At least he's available.
I mean, it's a
like Sangare is a different type of midfield to Anderson. Like Anderson's like an 8 to a 10, whereas Sangare was brought in as that 6. I'm going to say to Adam, I dare you to put that tweet out what Danny's just said and tag Newcastle fans and say get in their midfield because I think the bite to it would be like everybody won, which obviously because I've got Tonali, Bruno, and Joel.
I mean, I will do it.
I've seen a few of their fans saying he kind of needed to come away from Newcastle to play regularly. A few of their fans are saying, look, he wouldn't get in their midfield free, which he's doing well for them, to be fair, at the minute. So it's probably, like you said, Danny, I know Newcastle is boyhood club, but sometimes you kind of have to make that move away and, you know, to open up things. So, yeah, he's great, isn't he, Anderson?
Yeah, I absolutely love him. Christian, I really struggle for this last one. I went like Wood, Dominguez, Elanga, and I think I'm going to give you Anthony Elanga. I just think we this is every week now. This is getting stupid. Like we're talking about the same players after nearly every time we do a podcast, which is great because you know they're in form. But it seems to be like I could have chose anyone on the pitch really for you to talk about. I think you ought to talk about Ramon Sosa a little bit as well within this because I think it's only right that we've gave every player that's had a debut like one of these player performers, like more in depth kind of look. But Anthony Elanga was unbelievable yesterday, like unbelievably good, and I'm so happy for him because you want players to shine and you want them to do well, and he's someone that I think can go so much more further as well.
Yeah, definitely. It was a bit weird because, like, even despite getting the assist in the first half, I actually thought Elanga ran a lot but didn't really get any of the ball. He was like, he was working so hard for ball, it just wasn't really coming for him. He was like going inwards to try and get near it, and so at times like that. It was more like a defensive sort of focused role for him yesterday than it was an attacking, and he did really well. Yesterday, he did really, really well. He constantly made sure that I had someone there in support. As did Dominguez, to be fair. They sort of acted as a free. They'd come along and isolate the wingers and wing back. It was really good, like how really good shape actually for Forest. But he was just like constantly involved. Like he wasn't the one chance he actually got to do anything attacking, he got an assist from in the first half, I thought, Elanga, which says all you need to know, really, because that means that he's done his job. Ultimately, if the game ended at half time, he could be in, I've touched the ball only like once in this attacking third, but I've got an assist. I've done my job as a winger. But like I said, the relentless drive to sort of like keep going and keep going and keep going. Like Danny said, as soon as those subs were made, he just stepped up again. It was like, right, okay, it's my time now. I'm going to show you why I'm going to keep my shirt for the foreseeable future. I'm going to show you why I'm the first choice right winger. I'm going to show you why it was stupid to even suggest that someone else should start ahead of me. And he did. He just kept going. He kept going. He kept offering an option. He kept dipping into his energy reserves and dragging his team up the pitch. He was electric, yesterday, Elanga. But yeah, I obviously talking about Sosa as well. Sosa, I thought, was really good. Yes, I agreed with what Danny said. He was really good yesterday. Like there was one bit where he absolutely destroyed Young. It was not long before he got took off, actually, where he sort of just knocked the ball in behind him, ran off the pitch, a bit like Bale v Barcelona-esque, and just completely burned him and moved up. It was like watching someone running through treacle against this like winger Forest have got. It was night and day, really. He was very unlucky with his effort. Sosa, it was one of those in the ground. It looked like he probably should have scored it, or at least hit the target. But when you watch it back, you know he's got two defenders sliding in on him, so he probably rushed his shot as a result of that. But no, I thought he's very solid, very, very solid. Thrown in the deep ends. I'm sure Nuno and etc. would have rather planned his first start to be a bit in different circumstances, perhaps. But no, fair play to him. He took his chance very well. I'd be amazed if he didn't start the Luton game in the cup, and hopefully he can have quite a lot of joy against them, because on that showing he probably will do. But yeah, going back to Elanga, it's crazy how sort of fickle football can be, isn't it? Because this 4-game spell, like Danny said, like we're saying, is the second best, most important winger in the league behind Salah. 4 games before, you had Forest fans saying he's Alex Mighten 2.0, sack him off at the first available opportunity. It's just the nature of the sport, I guess. But again, the way he's playing, Elanga, I just chain him with Murillo and everyone else that we don't want to sell in the dungeon where Gary Megson currently resides at a City ground. Don't let anyone out until transfer deadline window shuts. Keep them all there.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for everyone joining us in the chat. 47 here. Danny Wetton's just put, who's friend of the pod. 50-50 tackle in the corner was the best moment of the match. Anderson v Mangala, he just kind of lumped him in the air and just took the ball away, and it was just like, well, this is done, isn't it? Like, and we know how strong Mangala is. Like as a player, like it's hard to get him off the ball, and Anderson put him on his backside, which was great. Got a few questions to go through, guys, just before we do kind of mid-season, 2024 awards. Ben Black has wrote, what should be the club's top priority for the January transfer window, being as we're second firmly in the Champions League spots no matter what happens tonight, guys? I'd like an answer of you all. Danny, I'll start with yourself.
For me, if I'm being greedy, I'd like a top level 6. It's like, for me, you've got, I love Dominguez. I'm not massive on Yates, but he's done a job. I'm not going to be daft enough to say, oh, he's been crap. He's done a job. But the better games they've had against the better clubs is when we've flooded the midfield with 4 centre mids, 5 centre mids. I'd like us to go for a number 6 who can go against the top teams, and we can play Elanga, Hudson-Odoi, and put Anderson and Gibbs-White in there, and have someone just that's. Who it is, I don't know. I mean, Nathan Joyce, he was on about the lad at Wolves who it was gutted we didn't get. He looks like the perfect kind of fit. I know Wolves are struggling, but it's a bit of a basket case of a club, aren't they, like at the minute? But they have got some good players. So as a priority, I'd say that, because I'm with you. I mean, I'm a fan of Sangari. If he's struggling with his hamstring, mobility is not his strongest point before. It's going to be hard for him to come back in and hit ground running into it. So if I'm being ultra greedy, I'd like one of them. I'd like a really good number 6. Who it is, I mean, it could be anyone really. Like there's a couple of lads that you'd like us to have a look at, but Marinakis, you don't know who is eyeing up. Because I tell you something, his targets from the summer aren't the same targets we've got now.
Get me Douglas Luiz from Juventus.
You know what I mean?
I don't think he's playing very much there, weirdly enough. But Reece, what about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, if we was to go down that route of getting a number 6, then I think you're going to have to make a decision really on Sangare and let him go and try and get as much money back as we can, because he was brought in to be that number 6. And if he's not up to it, then yeah, we've just kind of got to move on, haven't we, and admit it hasn't worked out. And I want it to work, and I've said this to countless, but I want it to work, Sangare, I really do, but he's no good burning a hole in his pocket as he sat in the sidelines or sat on the bench even. So we'll see that. I mean, you compared to last January, Jesus, we needed a new goalkeeper, didn't we? Goalkeeper's fine. The defence is pretty fine. We've got obviously Nico Williams just coming to form. That's given us another option at fullback. I still maybe a left-footed right winger, I think, possibly. I do like Jota Silva, but when we are defending the lead, he can be a bit erratic. To be fair, he was better yesterday in terms of not giving away cheap fouls. But obviously, I look at the Spurs game when he gave a couple in dangerous areas, and you don't want to be giving, silly free kicks in dangerous areas as good as we are at defending his box. And then probably maybe the other one is possibly a striker. I thought Taiwo come on yesterday and did actually all right, but
Brilliant.
He just needs a goal, doesn't he, Taiwo? He just needs that goal, and he probably needs a shinner like he usually does to kind of get him off the mark. So the positive is we don't, like last January, we aren't scrambling around thinking, oh my God, we need a massive position like the keeper last season. We brought in Sells because we had Vlachodimos and Turner who were both useless. So yeah, just, little tweaks, and we can kind of see we're in a pretty solid position to have a look and see what the market pans out as well. There might be someone who comes available. I know you just mentioned Douglas Luiz there, who was linked one to you a while back. I mean, God, he'd be a brilliant signing because I love Douglas Luiz. So yeah, we'll just have to see, mate. See what the market says. It wouldn't surprise me if you look at the South American market again, because their season's over, isn't it? And maybe bring in a young striker from there who can probably, grow into the club with Taiwo as the deputy as well. So yeah, the positive is for me, we're not scrambling around and thinking, God, we need this player, we need that player, we need this position because we're struggling. So I'll just take it as it comes and see what's what.
Yeah, so far, I mean, I'm touching some wood. We've been fairly all right with injuries, considering Danilo broke his ankle and Sangare's got shoestring hamstring for 3 months. I know Nick Campbell mentioned that it was his knee that's flared up this time, and that's why he's not available. Okay. But it's just not very good. Christian, last but no means least. Anyone maybe different position or kind of similar to what Danny and Reece have already mentioned?
Yeah, I think I'd look forward at the top end of the pitch, to be honest. I think that's where, like you said at the top of the show, if anywhere to improve, it would be there. We are doing very well, of course. We're winning games and scoring more goals to opposition. So obviously it's not like a urgent situation. But if we could get our numbers up ever so slightly, it wouldn't be a bad thing. I think with Danilo and Sangare coming back, I would completely leave the midfield alone, because those two will be like new signings when they come back, just because so much relief to those in there already, just because it adds competition and obviously gives manager more versatility, etc., etc. But these people will know they'll have a free season with Nuno anyway. They'll know exactly his tactical ideas, what he wants, and know the players, etc., etc. So they should be handing glove fits when they come back, and that'll be really good for Forest, I think. Because there will be times where we'll need the full squads. But yeah, if you were to say on the spot who would I like to sign as a dream signing, I probably would like Tyler Dibbling from Southampton, but there's no way they sell mid-season. But he'd be the perfect left-footed right winger that Reece craves, with the potential and ceiling he's got. He'd be an outstanding signing, I think. But I suspect we will get it was very evident and telling the kind of profile striker we were looking at in the summer with obviously Marmoush, Nketiah and Jimenez, where they're all sort of quicker strikers who can maybe get in behind and stretch defences a bit more. We currently don't have that. I don't think it's slight Taiwo. I thought Taiwo was brilliant when he came on against Everton, to be fair. And he's been brilliant, to be fair, the last few times he's come on. Against Leicester, he was great. Against Spurs, he was great. He just battering around, took out their whole paper thin back line and just nearly got something out of it. Had he cut that across, we probably win that game 2-0. But so I've got no issues on Taiwo. I just think we need someone a bit different, because I just flashed back to that Newcastle game where Woods was just getting destroyed by Burn every single time the ball came up. And the only option we had was to put a like for like on when we didn't have the option to play someone in behind, for example, or so to try and stretch the play that way or just offer something different. So I think getting a less bulkier, pacier striker just who can do that, I think that should be the priority for Forest really moving forwards. And it'll be interesting who they sign. There's been a lot of links with that guy from Brazil. I think it's Yuri Roberto, or Alberto, whatever his name was. I imagine that could be something. Although Nathan said that he works best in a 4-4-2. So whether you're asking someone to adapt to being a lone striker in the Premier League is a big ask. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very difficult market to operate in. But I trust the recruitment team, and but that's where I go for striker, and if we can, a left foot right winger.
Yeah, I think we're kind of all singing off the same hymn sheet. Nick Empel said Angio and Barney from Parma is maybe someone that's ideal. I mean, I've seen I can never say her last name, Neve, who goes by Stunt Peg on YouTube. She said on Saturday Social as all Fulham should be the kind of teams to go for him. But then she also put Moises Caicedo at right back in her team of the year so far. So that kind of like made my head spin off to Mars in a sense. So
to be fair, he has played right back quite a bit for Chelsea. It's free.
Yeah, he has. But
so
he has. But Ola is the best fullback in the league. Let's just have it right. Okay. David Bullen says, should Wolves let us win to guarantee their Morgan Gibbs White Europe add-ons? In all seriousness, we might be paying that money sooner than we thought. Also, call me woke, but the sign-on chance need to get in the bin. Yeah, I do agree. I mean, I'm quite happy to pay Wolves as add-on fees for Morgan Gibbs White if it means we're going to Europe, lads. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, brilliant. So I don't think I really need to ask that. But Lewis Morris has asked about players going out on loan. I think they're quite obvious, aren't they? Amabamidele is someone who really needs a loan. I'm not sure if there's anyone else who's like crying out for one, but he's definitely one. I don't know if you want to say anything.
Yeah, and maybe Abbott, but this is something we chat about before. It's got to be the right club. Look at Sapro Song at Rotherham. I mean, who sanctioned that move? Steve Evans is not gonna improve young players. It's just not that type of manager. So I mean, as the club Nick in the comments will probably know this, but as the club got a loan manager, because it's something that they probably need. Have they got one, Christian?
Really need it.
Yeah, it's something that if we haven't, we really need to do it. And it was kind of telling, really, in Nuno's post-match yesterday that he mentioned about Abbott being on the bench and this record and that. But he says we need to keep producing these players because we can't do it out of, sentimental values of just putting somebody on there because they're keeping this record. We need to keep these players coming. And I know, obviously, they're signing the lad from Scotland, aren't they? I think it is Ali Graham, who's going to be a young player who'll come in. They've signed a couple out of this season. Is it Blake Adam? I think you mentioned.
He signed a scholarship. Yeah, he's been moved up the age groups really fast.
Yeah,
as well.
So obviously, we're a Premier League club. You've got to start kind of poaching young players from all around everywhere, and obviously they go into the B team, don't they? So yeah, Amabamidele, I think, would need a loan. I mean, he was linked with Leeds, which I think Daniel Farker's there. Yeah, that'd be a good loan for him. As much as I hate Leeds, big club, big expectation. You'd probably imagine if he went
Ben White there as well.
Yeah, Ben White under Bielsa one of him. You probably think he'd probably get a promotion on his CV. So yeah, Abbott maybe, but there's no point in sending players out on loan if it's going to be a waste of time. We saw it with Alex Martin. That's set him back a lot now. Look at him. He's had to go back to America, hasn't he? And I think he's on loan somewhere in Denmark at the minute. But I think they'd be the two, wouldn't they, really? Can't think
Yeah,
of really
Nick
anybody
says
else.
there is a loan manager in place. So I don't know. How do you know so much, Nick? Like encyclopedia of Forest, but I don't think there's that much more to add in terms of that question. To be honest, I don't think there's really that more players. But we're going to do a bit of a mid-season awards thing or 2024 thing. I don't know if you've put anything down, Danny, because I know I told you, but
Yeah,
I don't know if have you got your notes.
yeah, I've done some.
I mean, I know we're all tempted to talk and wax lyrical about most of these players that we've probably put, guys, but we'll try and keep it nice, short and sweet. I'll go round each of you.
Yeah, Callum Castell
Castell.
come up with this on Twitter, who's been on our pod
Yeah.
before, so give him the credit. We haven't made this.
Give him the credit. So I'm going to go around each of you for each of these awards, including myself. So your player of the year, Christian Brown.
My player of the year was Chris Wood, which again is a pretty ripe field to choose from. But I just think someone who's got 18 Premier League goals in 32 games, including a couple of droughts in there as well, is ridiculous. I don't think anyone thought that Chris Wood could be at these levels, especially at the age he's at now. We all thought, like, think back to the start of last season where we were like, if Wood can get between 5 and 7 goals, that would be a massive help, especially considering like how he'd been before and how he'd been played. And obviously the plan was then to obviously make sure Taiwo got another run because obviously he got 10 goals or whatever else at the start of the season, like a house on fire. And then Forest mismanaged his injury once again. But he's taken that opportunity. So much about football is just taking opportunities, isn't it? And filling in when something happens, like be it an injury or suspension or whatever else. Like, look at Williams now. Obviously, Moreno was ineligible for that game. He ain't getting his shirt back anytime soon. Like, we've gone from saying about Moreno, should we sign him permanently, to should we send him back in January and free up a loan spot that quickly. So, it's all about taking opportunity, and Wood did with both hands. And he's become this beloved cult figure striker that's got like our top Premier League goal scorer. I honestly think, if we gave him that 2-year deal that he wants, which I fully suggested we do, I really believe he can break into 100 Premier League club. He's on 80 now. He's 20 goals shy. So let's say it's a 2-year deal. It's 20 goals in 2.5 years. I reckon even if he's a backup option, the way he's playing at the minute, he probably gets that. So yeah, I really, really hope. Really delighted with Woods. I think the way he's played this year for Forest has been out of this world. So yeah, Chris Wood.
Fair enough. Danny Tring, player of the year.
Murillo for me. I'll keep it short and sweet. It's the best player I've ever seen at Forest. I'll
Fair
leave
enough.
it at that.
Reece, you're on mute, mate.
I said I won't dwell on it because we've got to get round. Same as Danny for me. Murillo, player of the year.
Yeah, I've gone Murillo as well. So 3-1. I mean, I did think about Chris Wood, Christian. So yeah, that's fair enough. We'll go on to most improved, and I'll start. And I've put Chris Wood because I just think like the goal scoring is ridiculous. Obviously had a bit of a drought at the end of the season, and he's just come back and he's just absolutely fired us into second place along with everyone else who's contributing. So yeah, he's going to be my most improved. I'll go to you, Christian.
My most improved was Matt Sells. I thought that when he came in, obviously the bar was in hell. You've got, like I said before, a walking point deduction, the worst goalkeeper in the club's history, Matt Turner. And then, anyone's going to be an improvement on that. Jordan Smith would have been an improvement on that. But, it was weird because he looked he gave so much like calmness to the back four and the team. But if you looked at like the data and obviously that bloody account that kept popping up saying that, he's actually preventing this and this, blah, 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 blah. But this season, he's become, his reflex saves especially have been ridiculous. Like, he's turned that right around now, and 8 clean sheets. You don't do that just by having a good defence. You do that by being a very good goalkeeper. I'd say that he's gone from a player who I've been quite critical as well, felt that it was an area that we could definitely strengthen. I fully got why the club looked at Kelleher in the summer, for example. But now you're sort of thinking, well, how much longer can this go on for? Because at the minute you can't drop him. Like, he's been absolutely exceptional, Sells. So yeah, most improved for me.
Danny?
I'm going to go for, I think Sells is a good shout, probably be my second choice, but I'd probably go for Nico Williams. And maybe it's a bit more to do with the fact of his recent performances, but you look at the play. I mean, I think I'll win the same camp as Christian. this last January, it could have been loaned out to a Championship team. Let's be right. Like, it could have been loaned out to a Championship team, and all of us there'd have been very few other than the few that loved to shout his name just because he was running about before. He could have gone there, would have gone, well, yeah, £17.5 million, it didn't work. Nah, he took his chance last season. Got, obviously, Nuno thought he needed to strengthen and they didn't fancy him. And like Christian's just said, there's not going to be, Moreno's not starting now, is he? He's not going to start for the foreseeable if he performs like he's performed. And I've been a critic of Nico, I have, but I've been absolutely fine. If he carries on playing the way he's been playing, he can play there for the rest of the season and for the foreseeable for me.
Yeah, I still don't like him being number 7 at left back, mind you, but all swings and roundabouts. Reece, last of all.
Can we just say, can we get away from this sending players back just because they're not in the team in a minute? It's a blue squad game. If obviously Nico Williams got injured, we'd need Moreno to come in, wouldn't we? So, just keep the squad as it is this season. Jesus. Chris Wood for me. I know obviously he scored the hat-trick at Newcastle just on Boxing Day, wasn't it, last year? But before that, it just didn't work under Steve Cooper. Now, people can say that was because of the tactics, which I partly agree with, but I also didn't think he was doing enough for Cooper as well. That might be out of frustration and not playing to his strengths, which is fair enough. But under Nuno, he's been an absolute revelation. So it's got to be him for me. I must also say I'll probably give a bit of a special mention to Ryan Yates, who I think is actually, again, I'm same as you guys. I'm not going to say I'm chief member of the Yates fan club because I'm not, but I actually think he's done a lot better this season. He's actually matured as a leader. I've said that a few times, but and he's a part of the squad in a very what's the word I'm looking for? Competitive area for us at the minute. So yeah, but Chris Wood for me.
Sticking with yourself, Reece, I'm going to give you underrated now.
Without a doubt, Nico Dominguez. Without a shadow of a doubt. Brilliant again yesterday. I did this I think the day before we played yesterday, back to Callum. And then I watched Dominguez again yesterday. Just does not stop running. So good at one. Just doesn't need to dilly on the ball. One first time passing, so good. Keeps the ball, keeps it simple. Just, gives 100%. And yeah, I think he's a brilliant midfielder and someone who's really coming from the cold. And he's probably fortunate, really, that Danilo and Sangare did get injured because he's one, like Danny said with Williams, he's one who's got his chance and took it. And he's a valuable member of the team now as well. So, yeah, Dominguez for me personally.
Yeah, Danny, on to you.
I'd go with, same as Reece, I'd go with Dominguez, but I will give a shout out. I know it might sound a bit crazy. I think Aina. I think, realistically, he is the best right back in the league. And it's like, I think we still don't realise, I still think that we can't understand how good he is. I mean, there's a link to the Man City. Yeah, he could stop for Man City. He would. And that's like...
Better than Kyle Walker now. Kyle Walker's on the decline. The only right back you could really say is probably Trent, isn't it?
Yeah, but could Trent play left back? No chance.
No, I just think but Dominguez for me, but I'll get like, I know people love Aina and it sounds crazy to say, but I still think he's underrated. He's that good. So yeah, that's my view on it.
I'm hoping in January he's a deal that we bloody announce, him and Wood. I want Ola Aina to be presented with, like, I don't know what he really likes, but like, I do like how Callum loves boiled eggs. Like,
he likes Aina.
Yeah, he does love that. I just want Ola Aina to be presented with a contract by Alanga and Hudson-Odoi like his children.
I'd take signing no one and extending them deals personally.
Yeah, quite possibly. Christian.
Yeah, I've gone for Dominguez. I think that he's been a bit of a victim of his versatility at times because he can play because of his running. He can run anywhere. Like you can literally put him anywhere on a pitch and he'll run probably 15, 20k in a game just because he can. But I think as well he's been a bit unfortunate because of this player selection or whatever else. I don't think he's as appreciated by Forest fans, probably because of other issues we won't go into. But yeah, I feel that he's just a joy to have at the club, an absolute gem of a footballer, and very, very fortunate to have him.
It's a clean sweep, guys. I've got Nico Dominguez, and I mean, he's got to be knocking on that door for the Argentinian squad for the next time international break comes around, because he's playing for a top 4 side at the moment. Like, how can you ignore that? We'll go into signing, Christian. I'll come back to you, Uno reverse. So back around to you, Christian, for signing of the season, it's a bit of an odd one to do because obviously signings have happened in January and in the summer. I think this is more like a one that you would do at the end of the season, but we may as well all talk about Nikola Milenkovic, eh?
What, none of you picked Girona?
No.
Didn't know. You're joking. Of course, Milenkovic signing this season. He's been the best centre back in the league. You could argue. He's definitely. I'd say if you did team this season tomorrow, he's probably next to Van Dijk. That's all I say. He's been that good.
Danny, is it Milenkovic?
Yeah, it's Milenkovic. Yeah, it's like you say, we don't need to go into it, do we? It's easy pickings.
It's a no contest, as Nick has put. Is that same for you, Reese? Milenkovic?
No, it's Rodrigo Ribeiro for me.
Oh.
Yeah, it's got to be Milenkovic. I mean, Nuno's obviously he's perfect for Nuno's system as well because it's building from the back into. We was conceding set piece goals left, right, and centre last season. He's come in and solved that problem. You have to give a mention to Elliot Anderson, who I think probably 199%, let's say, because there'll always be one, but I think 99% probably didn't know much about Elliot Anderson when we signed him, and probably even a little special mention for Morato, who was literally it was a deadline day, wasn't he? I think Morato.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, and he's come in and gone about his work really well. So just lovely to see his recruitment has gone from scattergun to actually measured, and it's paying off.
Mad thing is, Morato's the most expensive out of the 3.
Crazy.
I mean, Carlos Miguel, special shout out for being so tall. Probably reaching those nice dust spots around the change rooms and stuff. But game of the season, which is difficult again because we're all going to talk about Liverpool. Let's face it.
Game of the year, you mean?
Game of the decade, isn't it? Unless we beat them like 4-0 at City Ground in January. So Reece, it's got to be Liverpool, hasn't it? Really?
No, Villa at home
Really?
For me. I just think us being 1-0 down with 5 minutes after having a disallowed goal against a side who are in the Champions League this season, still a very good team, to come back and beat them 2-1. I just thought that was my game of the year for me. Honestly, I'd put that up there. That'd make the top 10 ever home games for me. Forest that night would definitely. Villa home.
I might have like mixed mine up a little bit now you've said it. But Danny, what's the game of the year for yourself?
I'm a Reece. I was at the Liverpool game as well, but I'm a Reece. Nothing's better than coming from a 1-0 down to go on and winning 2-1 in extra time. You just can't. Obviously, Liverpool. I'll touch on it probably on a question in a bit, but that Villa game, it's what you dream of, isn't it? It's 1-0 down, 10 minutes, last 10 minutes, under lights. You get 95th minute, was it, winner? Something like that. So, yeah, I'm a Reece.
90,
some think like 89 or 90. I think we were that excited. They come and give me a cuddle after.
Fair enough. Christian?
Yeah, I've gone better as well. I think, if you come from a goal down to beat, so like I said at the time, a mid-table or lower half team, of course, it's still a big achievement. But to do it against the Champions League sides and who were very, very good that night as well. Like I said at the time, they were the best organised team we played all season. And we found the way through twice, or 3 times really, because that offside was nonsense. But despite the adversity, we still found the way through again. Yeah, the crowd that night was just ridiculous. So yeah, I've gone as a game, as Forest have played. I was thinking about United as well, but we were quite loose that day. We let in 2 goals. As in terms of how Forest played and in terms of what actually the end result was, yeah, Villa hands down.
Yeah, I've definitely got this wrong. I've put Liverpool. I'm going to keep my neck out on the line. I'm not going to change it. But yeah, I've gone with Liverpool. I've also gone for the goal of this year was Hudson-Odoi against Liverpool as well. And I'll tell you the reason when we get to it of why I've not picked that Villa game. But yeah, I've gone Hudson-Odoi for goal of the year as well against against Liverpool, just because it's just, yeah, it was off the post, lovely. Couldn't stop it. Danny, what's your goal of the year so far? Well, of 2024, should I say?
Yeah, I'm with you. I've gone Hudson-Odoi. I think when a keeper don't move, it says all it needs to say about the stride, doesn't it, when it comes from outside the area? And when it's supposedly meant to be the best keeper in the world, makes it even better against a team like Liverpool. So it's like their moments. It's like, for me, when you're looking at your best goal, you might score a screamer that makes you 4-0 up. The 1-0 winners, and to do it as a good a goal as that, it adds a bit more to it for me then. So yeah, for me it's Hudson-Odoi. But Woods had a couple of good goals. No, I mean the one against Everton, that's I know it looks like a simple finish, but it's not. But no, for me Hudson-Odoi.
Fair enough. Christian?
I've gone for, there was quite a few I had to whittle down. I've gone for Danilo v Brentford because that was technically at the start of the year. Just, the technique to take it on the 5 your left, then volley it with your right, or whatever way he did it, was just obscene. Like, to do it was the placement of it as well. Like, you had 3 keepers in that goal, they weren't seeing that strike. It was ridiculous. But I gave a special shout out to Hudson-Odoi v Sheffield United. Or take your pick, which one. I think the first one where he sort of chips it up and then whips it, that was a very good one. Aina v West Ham, Yates v Leicester, Hudson-Odoi v Liverpool, and Wood v Palace, the header. I think all of those honourable mentions for me. But yeah, for me, Danilo v Brentford.
Fair enough. Reece?
Yeah, it's got to be Amabadadeli away at Blackpool, and it's Hudson-Odoi, mate. It's got to be on it. I mean, as well, just to mention the pass from Malanga was absolutely sensational, and for Hudson-Odoi to cut inside and curl it around Conor Bradley, and like Danny said, Alisson, I think he thought it would go. I thought it was going wide, Alisson, and he kind of waved it. I mean, he wouldn't have got there anyway, but he waved it a little bit and it inside the post and went in. I think my honourable mentions for a goal that kind of didn't really mean anything was Gibbs White against Blackpool in the first game. I know that was against the Leeds one side, but that was a proper hit. But Hudson-Odoi for me.
Fair enough. I mean, Danny, I know this is going to be a difficult one, actually. Individual performance of 2024, and you waxed lyrical about Murillo on TalkSport on national radio. So I'm not sure if you're going to choose anything else, to be honest. But I'll let you try.
No, it's a no-brainer for me. That was ridiculous. That performance was, when you're running past supposedly one of the best. Well, he is, and Mbeumo's outstanding. He's absolutely rapid, and when a defender's leaving players like that in the way, it just looked like everything was easy for him that day. Everything was easy against class players, good players. It's just, I mean, I love him. It's up there. I mean, Samba was the best individual performance I'd ever seen before. The one at the Sheffield United second leg, that was probably still is the best individual. But that Murillo one was up there for me. It was. As a centre-half, performing like that, doing things that centre-halves shouldn't do. Like, they shouldn't do it. He does it. And then being able to defend as well as doing all them bits and bobs that he does. So, yeah, simple for me. I can't even, put an honourable mention. It was that good.
Yeah. Reece, what about yourself?
Yeah, same for me. It might be because obviously it's only a few weeks ago, but he was just sensational that day, Murillo. And I do feel for him a little bit of that. He's been brilliant this season, and he kind of gone into that syndrome of, because Nikola Milenkovic is coming as a new player and it's like a brand new present, and Elliot Anderson, but he'd be up for player of the season again. He's been consistently that good, but we kind of, that's what we expect from Murillo now, whereas obviously new players you're unsure about. But yeah, I think the other honourable mention I've given, I might steal Christian's thunder, but Gibbs White at home to Fulham last year was sensational. He took the banner to his heart, didn't he, and performed that night, and it was a massive win for us to consign Plucky Luton to the drop.
I mean, I don't know if anyone follows Steve Allen on Twitter, but he said yesterday missing Murillo would have won about 4 or 5-0, and normally he's like quite critical of it just to be against the grain. And Steve bleeding Grim Reaper. Christian, what about yourself for individual performance of 2024?
Yeah, Reece, took it off me. Gibbs White v Fulham for me. I think just given the situation we were in at the minute, we needed the hero. He literally stood up and was counted. that was performance you'd expect from an international, and he got his flowers soon after. Was it a goal and assist? Basically, pulled every string going that night, and played like Superman. So Gibbs White, big for them.
I mean, it's quite difficult because Joe, when you're playing so consistently well, like you could mention like Olorena against so many teams where no one like he had Luis Diaz, and then he had whoever at Gakpo in his pocket at Liverpool, Murillo against Brentford, as you guys have all mentioned, Gibbs White. I've gone for Elliot Anderson against Crystal Palace at home because it was the first time where we've not played with Gibbs White and we've actually replaced him like for like. And I thought Elliot Anderson was sensational in that game without getting a goal or an assist to his name. The elastic dribble he did that in that penalty box was ridiculous. I mean, he deserved a goal just for that alone. So I think I'm going to give it to Elliot Anderson just for a little bit of difference, and I'm going to go with that. And then last of all is the moment of the season. This is why I got it mixed up with the Liverpool game, really, guys. And I've put Elanga's goal in the last minute against Villa. And I've put that because I feel like it was almost a turning point in my mentality of we can actually probably do this. We are competing against some of the best sides in this league, and to come back, which we don't really do because we can bottle it. We've got that PTSD in us all. And I just thought that moment has made me really believe that we're going to go to places that we'd only think might look at like in holiday brochures, to be honest. So that's the goal. That's the moment of the of 2024 for me. Just give us that belief. Christian, I'll go to you next.
Yeah, so I want to do something different for each category, and so my moment of the year was winning at Anfield because that was just obscene. I think we could be 17th right now. It was still my moment of the year. Like it was just like unthinkable, wasn't it? We hadn't won there in like over half a century, and to not only win but keep a clean sheet as well, and to still live rent free in Slot's head. I didn't actually realise, I saw earlier, that is literally the only loss he's had this year in a league game. Even at final, he won all of his games before leaving, or didn't win all of them, but didn't lose one. Forest just rock up. He treats us like Peck's Wall. We win 1-0. Like it was brilliant. It's just nothing. You couldn't like script it. Like the goal, the away end, just the animosity towards the end. Like we didn't realise they didn't get their own way, so they threw their toys out the pram. The Liverpool fans, the tourists above us, sort of filming us and sort of half joining in with a chance at the end. Everything about that day was easy moment of the year.
Brilliant, Reese.
Peck as well, Jesus. And they haven't lost in any competition, and they apart from us, I don't think so.
Yeah, Liverpool have been pretty flawless, to be honest.
Yeah. God, I hate saying this, but they've been superb. Liverpool, you can't knock them. But yeah, it's the same for me. Moment of 2024, God, moment of a bloody lifetime to win it at Anfield. It's up there, right up there, top 3 Forest moments since supporting them for me. I think I've still got the video of Colin Frey's kind of monologue on the phone where he's like, I think he's even in disbelief when he's reading it out because, Brian Clough didn't even win there. That's how crazy it's been. And just a stat, I've seen a stat here, we've not won at Liverpool and Everton since 1898 or something like that.
Is it 1899, I think?
Is it?
So that, I think he found out.
Yeah,
we've dominated Manchester. Well, not Manchester, half of Manchester and all of Merseyside. Yeah. Danny?
Liverpool away, obviously, but I'll do an honourable mention to the Everton tweet. I think as far as
I had that written down. Yeah, calling out out and dragging him out a little bit.
Yeah. But I just thought that was a moment where, I mean, we live in it. We've not been in the Premier League. When you've ever watched the Premier League, all they've done for the last, I don't know how long, is slag off owners who aren't present, who were in America, ruining clubs, the biggest clubs. Yet our owner, and we know it was him that tweeted it, like, we're not daft. Our owner is present. He can walk around the City ground before a match amongst the fans. Doesn't get the credit he deserves. I know, like, we do it, but I think, and at that point, I think it was a bit of a fingers up to the establishment and a bit like, and I think we all got, again, as a kick on, didn't it? We all got on board even more when you think we wouldn't be able to, and we all just fell for, you know what? Yeah, it's right. Like we've tried everything else. We've been civil. let's go against the grain, let's go against the system. Then all of a sudden, other teams start jumping on it, don't they? So yeah, for me, it was a tweet that shocked. I mean, I don't know how many million views it got, but it shook
Still up.
Got like 50
all.
million,
So
I think.
Yeah.
it's still
for
up
me,
there.
that's a moment, other than obviously for a personal moment, Liverpool, but for an actual global moment, I'm going to go for that tweet. Yeah.
Rebel City.
That is sensational stuff, Danny. I mean, one thing that did make me laugh was Lee Clark had tagged Ashley Young in a tweet with "Cry Me a River," Justin Timberlake again with all that. So, yeah, fantastic. What comes around goes around, I guess. And it's been what a crazy year it's been, from just scraping to survive with a points deduction to second in the league. I mean, I don't know what the scores are at the moment. So league's probably changed again.
No,
But
they've
it's
not kicked off
absolutely.
yet.
Has it not kicked off? I thought someone
No.
kicked off at 7:15 for some strange reason. But it's
No,
just
7:15.
absolutely wild. And I hope in May where some of I don't know if you'll be here, Danny, but I'm sure you'll be part of it in some capacity. But I hope we're all here, looking forward to. We're going to draw in whatever European competition we might be in. But it's been such a turnaround in everything. Really,
we're already in some We're in a projected Europa League pot. I put in our group yesterday.
Have Opta give us some percentage for winning the league? Yeah, or what? Because they put us at 0 and was put off. They're still putting like City at like.
I mean, it's vastly unlikely we're going to win the league, but how can we be 0% when we're third? It's just not mathematically possible.
Can I just say, do you know, like we've gone through this, and there's one person we haven't mentioned in the old thing, and that's Nuno. Like, let's be real, like, he's the reason. I know we all love Steve Cooper. We did. But what that bloke's done, it's absolutely outrageous, let's be honest. He's turned Chris Wood into some goal machine. I mean, obviously he's scored goals, but it's ridiculous. I can't think of a player he hasn't improved. I can't. And the mentality of the players, I mean, I know we only touched on it slightly. The one you come on, he were man possessed yesterday when he come on. He knocked Tarkowski straight to the floor, not Branthwaite's out. They got a corner. He ran back to defend the corner. He was screaming at Forest defenders to get set up. And I thought, this is a bloke he was our number 9, wasn't he? He's coming on with a mentality like I've never seen before. And it's all down to him and his staff. And it's like, it's crazy, really. I mean, if it wasn't for the person who preceded him, we'd be going absolutely crazy about him. We would. The bloke's just come in and done an absolute unreal job. And I've just had to mention him, really. It's ridiculous how good the job is done.
It's mad, like, I tightly knit the squad looks as well, because usually you'll always get kind of one who's whinging, and they just look so together. And I always laugh at that little bold coach he's got with a little goatee beard. He's like, I always say to Emma, make a joke like, oh, he's like the chief of the Vibes cartel, he is, because he's always like hugging the players after. I have no idea what he actually does.
It's funny you say that.
Players after the game.
Murillo, I was watching him warm up and I seen him pull up injured. He was the first one over to him and he was hugging him. And he looked absolutely distraught that he couldn't play. Yeah. And it was a bit like, I didn't like Alan Tate. He wouldn't have been like that. Like, it was I know it's different. It just looked like it was devastated that he couldn't play. And it is, you're right. There's something about him, and that what they've done to our club at the minute and what they've done for us, it's ridiculous.
His name's Julio Figueroa, Reese. But I think also it's worth noting. I'm not sure if it was Henry Winter or someone in the Athletic mentioned that Rui Pedro didn't join him at Tottenham, and he's joined him this time. And obviously we had that. It was quite funny. We had that run, obviously, when Nuno got suspended and he won the 3 games on the trot, and that Nuno's completely trumped him by winning 5 games on the trot back on the touchline. And it's the longest winning run we've had since 1995. And I think if we make it 6 against Wolves, it's like the longest run since we've had, like, since the 60s or 70s. We didn't even have a winning run like this under Clough, which is absolutely bonkers. If it was 6 days, that's absolutely ridiculous. So he's just breaking records every week, it seems. Like, couldn't win at Everton before, kept a clean sheet. Couldn't win at Brentford for Toffee, which is quite ironic, so I said Toffee. Beat them. Didn't beat Tottenham for ages. Beat them. Beat Man United. Beat Liverpool. What can't he do, this bloke? So, yeah, long may it continue. But I did want to say on that bombshell, Danny, after that brilliant monologue. So we'll end it there. I mean, I know we've got Wolves coming up. Quick predictions, actually. Danny, I'll start with yourself. Quick prediction for Wolves.
1-0 win.
Morgan Gibbs White. Very good. Reese?
Yeah, I'm hoping we'll hear something before that game about Matheus Cunha, because if he's out, that'd be a massive boost for us. And I'm going to go with the fact that I think he might be, because apparently it is imminent. They said on TalkSport earlier, but who knows? I'll go same as Danny, 1-0.
Yeah, Christian, I know we'll probably do a preview with Dan. So we'll get more in depth about everything, especially their new manager. They've had a new manager bounce, actually.
Cunha or no Cunha, 1-0 Forest win.
I'm going to go 3-1. I actually think we might score some goals there. Everyone seems to underestimate us. So, yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 and we'll score some goals.
Gibbs White would be lovely. To Gibbs White.
I mean, he scored against before, hasn't he? And scored against them before in the league, didn't he, when we drew 2-2. So there's no reason.
Cross from set pieces against Spurs as well, Wolves. Milenkovic against
they've conceded 20 goals this season.
Yeah. Like they're trying like a mixture of zonal and player. They look so. If Spurs look good at set pieces, something is badly wrong. And like if Milenkovic is going up against that, might be free before half time. Honestly,
it's good for us as well. We've got that extra couple of days, gives obviously chance for muscles to in. And I think they've gone away, haven't they? A few of them. I've seen Gibbs White's in. It looks like he's in the Alps, so I think they've gone away for a few days.
I mean, Nick Ample's mentioned Cunha went off injured yesterday, but yeah, if you think that, I mean, you can't push people in the face and get away with it without getting a punishment. So yeah, hopefully another results. Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, well, thank you for everyone who stuck around for the hour and 27 minutes that we're about to tick over to. We had about a peak of about 50-60 people in here, so thank you very much for joining us. Hope everyone has a happy new year with whatever you're doing, guys, and I mean, stare at that table for as long as you want, because we're right in the mix, and it's going to be, I hope 2025 is as good as the year as it has been 2024, or the end of 2024, should I say. So until next time, come on, you Reds.